Where to start with the craziness that has been the Microsoft buyout of Activision? This whole drama started about 18 months ago, and since then we have seen all sorts of craziness from competitors in the gaming industry, all the way to the federal block that we're dealing with right now with the FTC. This all possibly will come to a close this week, with now getting that decision from the federal judge on whether there's going to be a preliminary injunction granted to the FTC, completely destroying the Activision buyout. But in actuality, let's just point out that the past few days, the proceedings that have taken place have been an absolute circus, a comedy act, and we're going to outline them right now. Well, kids, grab your peanuts and popcorn for this one because it's going to get interesting real quick. Phil Spencer took the stand for the second day of the proceedings of the whole FTC federal case, and he was asked a lot of questions. During these questioning, the FTC seemed to somehow ask him the same question multiple times in different ways. And it would all happen to stem around Call of Duty. Them asking, is Call of Duty going to be exclusive? How could Call of Duty be exclusive? What happens if Call of Duty is exclusive? Literally, the way I described this to my wife was me accusing her of finding another person in the house and then asking what person was in the house. What was the name of the person in the house? What color was the person of the house? The whole time, it's the same damn answer. There was nobody in the house. Just like Phil Spencer saying that Call of Duty was not going to be taken away from PlayStation. But for whatever reason, the FTC also seemed hell-bent on not really acting like the FTC. It seemed like they were almost negotiating for PlayStation by asking other questions about other games and possibly the exclusivity implications on the negative effects of the market. It's absolutely insane. And even the judge herself got a little frustrated with the line of questioning that the FTC provided, and at one point she even cut them off. It all started with Judge Corley cutting off the FTC lawyer when they asked if Spencer could legally bind Microsoft into keeping Diablo on PlayStation. The Microsoft lawyer objected, and Judge Corley said, "Your point has been made, move along." But later in the proceedings, Judge Corley had to directly cut off the FTC's line of questioning of Spencer after the regulator's lawyer asked if Spencer could make a Call of Duty commitment for bringing the game to a Sony PlayStation Cloud service. The judge then said, "I don't think that's it. I'm going to cut off questioning right there." And at that point, according to the reporter in the courtroom, there was an audible oof from members of the audience. So it just seems that the FTC, for whatever reason, are trying to get Phil Spencer to lay out terms of some negotiation when that is not the place or the time for it. And to be absolutely honest, I don't even think Phil Spencer is allowed to make those decisions by himself without any kind of approval from the people that he answers to. So I have no idea at all why the FTC were even trying to give him that line of questioning. But the craziness doesn't even end there. What gets even crazier is the Federal Trade Commission has had a lot to say about Microsoft trying to purchase Activision, and apparently how they have some idea of how the game industry really works. But now we have found out that the FTC has no idea what is going on and did very little homework to educate themselves on how the game industry truly operates. They are quoted in saying this is also about what's called partial foreclosure. If there's a tool or a thing you can buy, maybe you can only buy it if the game is on Xbox, and you can't buy the same thing if you're playing on PlayStation. That is partial foreclosure. Or maybe the gamers want to play a game right away, so it's available on Xbox first, and maybe it only comes to PlayStation or a rival cloud service a year later. It seems like they have no idea how PlayStation has conducted themselves over the past few years. And that is where it gets absolutely asinine and ignorant that the FTC had no idea that PlayStation, one of the most aggressive players in the gaming industry, has been committing some of the most heinous acts that they are accusing Microsoft of planning to commit in the future. Let's just cover some of the more recent stuff of Sony PlayStation's exclusive content, DLC, and games, instead of going through their entire history over the years. But starting in 2020's Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, there was a zombie defense mode called Onslaught, which was exclusive to PlayStation for an entire year. Then we moved to 2021's Call of Duty Vanguard and 2022 Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which have a wide variety of PlayStation-only skins for operator characters and weapons, as well as exclusive drops of in-game items like weapon blueprints and emblems for PlayStation Plus subscribers, including other benefits which include 2 more loadout slots, monthly double XP events, 25% weapon XP progression while in a party, and 5 extra battle pass tier skips from bundle purchases. I couldn't even say it all in one breath, and that's just Call of Duty alone. It goes on to Harry Potter, that had their own exclusive quest, and also exclusive potion recipes and exclusive skins for some shopkeeper cosmetic set items, and not to mention there's also some shop on the PlayStation side for Harry Potter where players can sell their items for 10% more money. And let's not even get started on Destiny, where on both Destiny 1 and 2 had exclusive strike missions, exclusive maps, exclusive armor, exclusive weapons, and some of this stuff was even permanently kept from other platforms like Xbox and PC. Heaven forbid Microsoft commits any of those sins. So for whatever reason, during this insane line of questioning for Phil Spencer, the FTC is completely protecting the market dominant player, PlayStation, allowing them to conduct themselves and do things that they don't want Microsoft to do, which I don't understand the double standard. But during this line of questioning, the judge decided to intriguingly ask Mr. Phil Spencer why exactly Halo is an exclusive game for Xbox. In his response to the judge's question, which is absolutely insane, Xbox chief Phil Spencer explained why Halo is exclusive, including reducing costs in addition to maximizing creativity by adhering to one platform. Spencer explained that in the console space, all the platforms have exclusive games that don't launch on other platforms. We're at a significant deficit behind the hit quality and the number of exclusive games provided by Xbox, said Phil Spencer. He also stated that Halo is a much smaller franchise than Call of Duty, and Starfield is a much smaller franchise than Minecraft, in an attempt to describe the difference in scale of these games. But the main reason where Phil Spencer wanted to point out to the judge is the reason why games are exclusive is not exactly to garner this whole idea of a console war, but it actually has to do with revenue. And that's where his explanation of comparing Call of Duty to Halo and Minecraft to Starfield is that he pointed out that Minecraft is a very large revenue generating game. It's actually one of their more successful revenue generating games. And so therefore that game is multi-plat to maximize the amount of revenue it can produce. And that is the same comparison for Call of Duty. Taking it away from other platforms would reduce the revenue that it can create. But if we look at like a title like Halo, Halo is an exclusive game that is designed around one platform, one ecosystem, which happens to be console and PC. But that also has to do with the amount of revenue that the game generates. It doesn't generate the amount of revenue that Call of Duty does, so therefore there's no reason to put in all this extra development cost and sacrificing the hours of creativity that could go towards just focusing on one ecosystem. Even Pete Hines told the FTC this during his line of questioning on day one, that if by some chance Starfield was a multi-plat game and had to come out on other ecosystems like PlayStation, there would be no way for them to hit the deadline for the game. The launch date that's taking place in just a few weeks this year, he doesn't feel that would have been possible if that game would have been multi-plat. Real quick, everybody, let's just kind of close this out by talking about the elephant in the room. The FTC, the federal judge, and other people involved other than Microsoft and the Activision people that sit at that table, they have no idea how gaming truly operates or how the industry truly functions. It's absolutely insane and alien to me to think that these people, the federal judge and the FTC, are responsible for controlling mergers and regulating businesses that they have no idea about how they function or work. It's absolutely stupid. Let's really think about this. Gaming has become so big that it almost dwarfs the movie, television, and music industry combined. And these individuals, the FTC and the judge, are the ones that are going to have a yay or a nay over what happens next when they don't even truly understand why a game is exclusive. And to make it even worse, how the hell did the FTC not know that PlayStation didn't have exclusive skins and exclusive game modes? It's like, what is going on? How do they come to these realizations and decisions? What is absolutely going on behind the scenes? It feels like the only people that showed up to the courtroom with their ducks in a row was Xbox and Activision. That's where it's going to lead up to the next few days being even more interesting. We're going to probably see more shenanigans take place and more bombshells get dropped on the witness stand, because now we've got Satya Nadella and Bobby Kotick coming up this week to be questioned by the FTC. And both of these individuals, especially Bobby Kotick, can be extremely cocky, and I'm going to be very curious on how it's going to go with the FTC. To keep up with it all, please, everybody, like, subscribe, comment down below for this channel, all that good stuff YouTube likes to see. Also, please remember, check out the end card after this video, explore my channel, check out my latest video, the one that came out before this one. And during this whole escapade, the whole console war thing, I always have to tell everybody that no matter what anybody says, please play the games you love on the console platform you prefer, or even PC, or hell, your phone. Doesn't matter. Just enjoy gaming. I am Centurion 1307, and thank you for watching.